Hey folks, this is Karen Trepte from Guiding Works, coaching your productivity coach. Today I have a super treat in store for you. We have Kendrick Shope with us today. She's actually $1 million coach. She's on the national scene. She's got huge things coming up for 2017. And I just really want to pitch to you. I'm just going to say that out loud. I'm one of her boosters. I'm so excited. I just want to really tell you from my heart that sales school has made such a difference in my life and in my business, even way beyond the friendship that I have with Kendrick. So I am urging you, I am pitching you to take advantage of sales school this year. So without further ado, this is Kendrick Shope. And how are you today, Kendrick?
I'm fantastic, Karen. I'm happy to be here, and thank you and your viewers for your time. I genuinely appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So this year, tell us, because I know you do have big changes. So first of all, can you share with us, I'm sure people are excited, like what big changes are coming up for you in 2017? You've worked so hard for this, so I'm excited for you to share.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of big changes coming up. A book that should be approved by a publisher, so that's exciting. We have a television show, so it's on Grant Cardone, who is a sales god. We're going to have a show on the Cardone Network. We have a podcast coming out. Sales school is going to get more streamlined next year, so you'll have access to sales school for multi-level marketers. You'll have sales school for face-to-face selling. You'll have sales school for corporations. You'll have sales school for online marketers, and so sales school for products. So sales school's revamping totally. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and yeah, I'm just, all of the exciting stuff is just proof that just to keep going. Right foot, left foot, breathe, as Pat Head Summit used to say. Right foot, left foot, breathe, because it is all possible.
Yes. So this year, one of the things that I genuinely loved and love from working with you is just that you're so real and that you are so present and really just there for your clients from your heart. And one of the reasons I'm pushing so hard to so many of my audiences this year for sales school is that this year they will still have the opportunity, right, to get that personal. Can you believe this, guys? I took her sales school class and I got personal feedback from Kendrick, like helping me to write my copy, helping me to do all kinds of things. But they'll still get that this year, right?
Yeah, this is the last year that we're going to give personal feedback from me. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like moving forward, but this is the last year where I will be able to go in and review your copy and give you feedback. And it's one of the things that is kind of bittersweet, because I take a lot of pride in the fact that people write their sales page during sales school, and then they don't have to worry about it being good enough because they submit it, we review it. If we need an extra week, we add it on. And so it's one of the things that I really pride myself on is that we get it done right. And the way I know we get it done right is because I don't trust anybody else to do it. I personally review every single piece of everything that you submit because I'm a control freak. So this is the last year that I'm going to be quite that hands-on because of the way that sales school is growing. It's just changing. And I'm excited about that because you watch your program grow into something bigger. And so I feel like this sales school is going to be probably our best yet, just because it's the final one that we're going to do like this. And I'm excited to go out with a bang.
That's awesome, Kendrick. So can you tell our audience then, please, like, what are some of the things that you cover in sales school? What do they get?
Yeah. So you sort of get, but you get a good foundation for selling anything. You know, it's funny because I feel like all of us are in sales in one way or another. Some people say, oh, I don't need selling. I'm just going to, you know, I know how to market. I'm just going to put stuff out there. But actually, you do need selling, because the definition of selling is the exchange of money for a product or service. So you can be the best marketer in the world and sell nothing and your business is bankrupt. You absolutely have to have sales. What you don't have to have is selling in a way that feels icky, sleazy, slimy, or pushy. And so that's the basis of everything we do in sales school. We find your individual, not as a group, your individual, or we begin to tap into your individual comfort level with selling, and the things that you can do to push up to that comfort level without going over into, I absolutely am not, you know, this is absolutely gross to me. And we find us selling your sales comfort zone, your sales zone, your zone of genius, if you will, for you to sell. From that, then we do some really tangible things. You learn how you write your sales copy and you get feedback. You learn how to have sales conversations, consult. You learn how to go out and promote yourself on social media and create authentic buzz. You learn how to follow up with customers. You learn how to write an email that sells, and it's really structured, and you get feedback on every one of these things. So step one is a headline that converts, and here are 5 ways to do a headline that converts. It's funny, I was reading some of the testimonials from last year's sales school, and I came across one that said, just from the headline class, the traffic to my site has increased 3 times, and my blog open rate has increased 50%. So these things are all tangible, they're tested, they're proven, and they work. This is the 5th time that I've run sales school, and so I will make mistakes. I will make mistakes. I'm human, but the stuff that I'm going to teach you works, and it's helped a lot of business owners create a business that they love and a way to go out and communicate that message and get paid to do what they love.
So if people opt into sales school this year and you're making all these big changes next year, do they get that too?
They do. Actually, it's really one of the coolest things ever, because next year each individual sales school will have its own individual price. But anybody who has been through sales school previously, so from 2016 backwards, gets access to all of them. So you will get access to selling for multi-level marketers. You'll get access to selling face-to-face. You'll get access to cold calling. You'll get access to the whole thing. It will be like a training library that Fortune 500 companies use to teach their people how to sell. And that feels really good to me. I had some people say, no, you don't want to do this. This is a completely different product. I said, no, I absolutely do. That was the promise when they signed up. They get access to sales school, and this is just the next iteration of sales school. So yes, you get access to so many trainings in one site, and I'm really excited about that.
One of the things that I know and love about you, Kendrick, is you are so generous. You really are. I mean, sometimes, I guess I'm going to say this out loud over the internet, but I mean, sometimes I'm actually concerned about you because you work like so hard and you give so much to so many people. But that's one thing that people can really count on is your generosity. So, yeah, you're welcome. It's true. So
if I could say one thing about that, I've been there. You know, I so wanted somebody to show me a little bit of kindness when I was struggling. I so wanted somebody to take me by the hand, metaphorically at least, across the computer and say, I got this, you got this, you know? And it's so, we beat ourselves up enough. We look online and see all these success stories. And I promised myself, when I was successful, because I knew it was going to happen, I wanted to be a source of hope for people to say, not she makes me sick. I wanted people to say, she believes in me. And if she can do it, I can do it. Because there's no reason that you can't do it. So I get it. And I want to be there for people, because it's a lonely world out there doing it all yourself. I know.
It's lonely and it's hard and it's really stressful.
It is.
It's overwhelming, and it's just can be so rewarding, you know, just reaching out, those happy clients, those testimonials rolling in, just light up my world. But one of the things that I wanted to let our audience know, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty in our audience that already know who you are, Kendrick, but for those of the people who don't even have a clue to who you are, let's just go backwards a little bit, and can you tell us a little bit about like your beginnings? So this is not just like $1 million coach. You became $1 million coach overnight, and voila, here she is. She loves France, and so tell us about you. Really, tell us, like how you got here.
Yeah, so I was obviously born and raised in the good old southeastern part of the country in Tennessee, and my first sales job was, I graduated with a degree in psychology from the University of Tennessee, and my first sales job was selling lumber to dusty, dirty lumber yards. If you've never been in a lumber yard, you don't know what I mean, but they're dusty and they're dirty, and it's a traditionally male-dominated environment, and you wear steel-toe boots and hard hats, and I rode in 18-wheelers, and it was crazy. But I learned a lot about selling there. I guess that wasn't my first sales job. That was my first sales job was cold calling for that same company. But then eventually I got to go out and do some face-to-face selling. And I learned a lot about sales there. I learned from one of the probably most amazing men that I've ever had the pleasure of working with. He was about to retire. His name was Ed Caraway, and I learned so much from him about how to sell the good old-fashioned way. So by that I mean where people still matter, putting relationships first. And then I sold for 2 pharmaceutical sales companies. I was a top-performing sales rep for over a decade for 2 pharmaceutical sales companies. I graduated from 2 sales schools. I've studied selling for at least half my life. When I started my business, I was scared like everybody else. I didn't know if I wanted to leave my cushy, comfortable job. Everybody in my family said I was nuts. It was crazy. I think if they could have institutionalized me, they would have, but I have a redheaded temper, and so they weren't going to do that easily. And I failed. I failed miserably. And I picked myself up. And I failed. And I failed miserably. And I picked myself up. And I failed. And I failed miserably. And I picked myself up, because just because you know how to sell doesn't mean you know how to run a business. Like, I have the exact problem that most people have out there, right? They've been through business classes. They've been through marketing classes. They've got their product and service, and they can't figure out why it's not working. I didn't have that problem. I knew how to sell. I didn't know how to do anything else. I crashed 3 websites that I paid for trying to go in and do it all myself. I mean, you name it, I've done it.
Oh, no. I've had that happen to me where the website crashed. It's just an awful feeling.
It is.
And people might not know you didn't even start out as a sales coach, Kendrick. So.
No, I wanted away. I blamed... So when I had my daughter, I wanted a different existence. I would rock her to sleep at night and say, I believe in you. You can be anything you want to be in this world. All you have to do is believe. Believe is the magic word in our house. As a matter of fact, she overheard me last night say, I didn't believe something, and I didn't know she heard me. I found her in a ball just sobbing. And I said, what is wrong? And she said, the magic word's believe. And I heard you tell Daddy you didn't believe in something about Star Wars. And I was like, oh my gosh. No. So, I mean, it's a serious deal in this household. And so I realized that she's going to, develop a personality and a brain and wake up and see, Mommy says believe and follow your dreams, but Mommy is selling drugs and she's not following her dreams. What happened? And so from there, I went on a mission to figure it out. What is my dream? Do I even know anymore? I was that stereotypical woman who's kind of lost herself. And I found Martha Beck through that process and went through Martha Beck Life Coaching School, which is one of the best things I've ever done for myself. Thought I wanted to do that for people. Turns out I'm terrible at it. I don't want to lead you to something and let you figure it out. I don't want to let you go, fumble around in the desert looking for water. Again, life coaching is amazing. The people who do that for their job, I have so much respect for. I want to tell you what to do. I want to see the results, and I want to move on to the next thing. That's the sales part of me. So I missed the quota. I missed exceed quota. And a very good friend of mine told me, you're in the wrong business. you're in the wrong business. Marie Forleo said, you're a natural born salesperson. What are you doing? Why are you selling life coaching? Jenny, she said to me, sweetheart, you need to be selling sales. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Selling sales. What does that even mean? Everybody knows this stuff. Turns out it took one of my best good friends to be able to see what I couldn't, because everybody doesn't know this stuff. And so that's how I started as a sales coach. And from there, I worked my ass off. I mean, then I knew what I wanted to do, and I'd learned how to build a business. And that was still 4 years ago. I mean, I worked hard. And that's the message I think that gets lost a lot in building a business. People talk about, if it doesn't feel good, you should do it, and it should always feel amazing. And the kind of business I want to run doesn't always feel amazing. I want to run a multi-million-dollar business that helps tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. And I'm sorry, but there are things I have to do that don't feel good. It just is. I don't like doing my books. I hate it. I hate it. I hate having the meeting with my accountant. I hate it. I have to do it because that's what a business owner does. So I think that we've gotten a little soft in the online world. If it doesn't feel good, if you're not inspired, if it's not in alignment, I get that. And you should never do something that's icky, sleazy, slimy, or pushy. But anybody who leads you to believe that this is anything other than hard work is not being honest with you. And anybody who leads you to believe that you are unable to do it is not being honest with you. Anybody can do this. I mean, you can. It's just, you got to believe, you got to be able to fail and pick yourself up, And you've got to be willing to learn what you need to learn. If you're willing to do that, it will happen. But you have to be willing to fail and pick yourself back up. And as I look back on it, I think that's the hardest thing for people, Karen. They fail and they don't pick themselves back up.
Yeah, well, failing then feels like crushing, right? So
it does. So we have to have a new relationship with failure. Like I'm reading this book by Pat Summitt, one of the University of Tennessee's female basketball coach for 20 years and built the leading women's basketball program in the country. And she talks about failure, and I say this all the time. I didn't know Pat Summitt said this, but she talks about failure is a signpost. Failure is nothing more than saying, this didn't work, so now you know that, and you're one step closer. And I say that all the time. I mean, I used to say, we're going to do it. We're going to go all in. We're going to give it everything we got, and we're going to learn something.
Yep.
And whatever we learn brings us one step closer. I mean, it's like infinite possibilities, and you cross this off. Great. We're not going to do that again.
That's brilliant, though. I mean, I think that's really some of the people who've inspired me, like Abraham Lincoln. I mean, those people, Thomas Edison. That's really how the greatness has come. It's the people who are truly great are only the ones who have actually, I think, failed over and over again and willing to just keep going and keep trying. So I want
tried to invent the light bulb, 100 times? He didn't invent it until time 100. What if he'd stopped on time 99? Would we be here in the dark today?
100. I think it was thousands. I think it
was it? Okay. Either way, whether it's 99 or 999,000, if he'd stopped one time short,
right, we wouldn't have it.
I mean, somebody else may have done it, but the point is, if you're meant to do this, if you know in your heart and your soul and you feel it in every fiber of your being, and that's how I was, then yes, it's hard. Oh my gosh, it's so hard. It is. It's hard to pick yourself back up. And I would have moments where I cried and moments where I thought I'd made the biggest mistake in my life. But you get back up. Right foot, left foot, breathe. Right foot, left foot, breathe.
Wonderful. So I want to honor your time here. We're just going to go a little bit more. Can you tell people, please, in our audience, like maybe give them one or two tips?
Yeah.
Sharing from your sales school?
Yeah. So I think the most important thing about selling is to realize that it doesn't have to be, and it should not feel like the enemy. It shouldn't feel like the big bad wolf in the room, the thing you don't want to do, the thing you want to hide from. Selling actually, and I hate the word should, but selling actually should a little exciting because that's where you get paid. Like if you are making a sale, then somebody's life, business, health, weight, whatever is about to be changed. That's amazing. That's magical, right? So selling is the art of completing that transaction. And I think the first tip, the first thing you have to realize is all the negative things that you feel about selling, all the negative stuff that comes up for us is a reflection of your past experiences. And that's okay, but that's not what the definition is. It doesn't have to be that way. Just because you've been sold and railroaded and pushed into a sale, there are other ways to sell. Right. And you don't have to sell that way. And so when you think about establishing relationships with people and providing services that change people's lives, that's the kind of selling I'm talking about. So rather than saying selling is only the exchange of money for a product or service, the first thing I teach every single person is selling is helping. If you don't tell your audience how you can help them, if you don't tell your people that you're meant to help, how you can improve their life, their health, their weight, their business, their finances, their whatever, then nobody else is going to do it for you. So selling is helping. And that reframe of selling is absolutely one of the most powerful things you can do in your business. So that's tip number one, selling is helping. The second tip that I would love for people to know is selling boils down to an equation. And I don't like math, so I crack myself up every time I say that word, but it boils down to an equation. Pain points plus features equals benefits. And what I mean by that is pain points are the problems, the experiences that are negative that your client is having that you can solve, you can correct, you can help them correct. Some people say, my clients are perfect. That's what I want them to see. They don't have pain points. If they don't have pain points, you don't have a business. Like, people are not just going to hand you money because you're a nice person. They have got to be, Tony Robbins says, people have got to be in enough pain to want to make a difference. And I don't mean physical pain, but this has got to be affecting them negatively or adversely, or they're not going to change, right? They're not just going to hand you money. So pain points are, what are the symptoms that this issue is causing? How do they present? So for example, if we were talking about a child and a child says, Mommy, I have a sore throat. Okay. That's a symptom, right? That's a pain point. What are some other symptoms that might present? Well, it could be, I have fever. I'm not sleeping. I've got a runny nose. I'm vomiting. So when you go to the doctor, you say, I think my kid's got strep. Well, why do you think that? Well, because throat's hurting, fever, runny nose, whatever. And how is that affecting you? None of us are sleeping. We're all really grouchy. I'm worried. All of those descriptors, think about if you were going to a doctor to talk about how these issues are affecting your clients. Those are the pain points. So it's not just, well, you're unhappy or you're dissatisfied, or how does that affect their life? Are they able to do their job? How does that affect them being a mother if they're unhappy? How does it affect them being a wife? How does it affect them being a husband? What does all of that do? Those are your pain points. The features are just whatever your product or service does. So for example, in our doctor example, the doctor might say, okay, great. And it doesn't matter what you think about medicine, like medicine, don't like medicine. I don't care. It's just an example. I sold drugs, so go with it. You got your pain points, right? We're going to swab you for strep. Yep, you've got strep, so we're going to give you amoxil. We're going to give you this antibiotic. That's the feature, right? Whatever amoxil does, it kills the streptococcus bacteria. I don't know what it does, but whatever. Those are the features. So the solution, what the solution does, it's the how we're going to get rid of the strep and all these symptoms. The benefits are what changes as a result of the feature. So if we follow this to completion, this strep throat example, it's not just a reversal of symptoms. It's not just the throat, it doesn't hurt anymore. The kid is no longer vomiting. The kid doesn't have fever. It's not just a reversal of symptoms. It's why that matters. Why does that matter? What's changed? What's everybody in the household able to do now that they were unable to do before? Well, mama's able to work a job she loves because the kid's not in bed crying. Mom's able to service her customers. Kids able to go to school and learn and be with friends, and nobody's as stressed, and we're able to go to the park and play, and we're able to whatever, and we don't have to keep the baby quarantined from the kid with strep, whatever. So it's not just a reversal of symptoms. And this is where people mess up. Like this is where people mess up in the online world. They give you a pain point. So you've got strep throat. My product's going to fix that for you, and you're not going to have strep throat anymore. That doesn't sell me. So you've got strep throat, or you think you might have strep throat, and everybody in your house is miserable because you're vomiting, you have high fever, they're afraid they're going to get it, nobody's sleeping, so one of your parents has got to stay home from work. But this just can't go on like this because somebody, it's just not good, right? And furthermore, if you don't fix it, you're going to die. Strep throat will kill you. Okay, that's when we're talking, that's when we're selling through pain points. Then we have the treatment, and then we have not just the reversal of symptoms, but it is, we no longer have strep throat, so you can go out and do the things that you enjoy. You can go jump on the trampoline. You can go ride your bike. Your mom can work the job she loves. She doesn't have to stay home with you. Your dad can be stressed that he doesn't have to bring peanut butter and jelly home every day. I don't know why peanut butter and jelly. That's what my kid always wants. You know, you can go out and live this big, beautiful life, and you're healthy, and you're not going to contaminate, and on and on and on and on. That's when you're selling. That's the mistake that people make. They give you a pain point, they give you a feature, they give you a reversal of pain point and think it's going to sell, and it doesn't. People buy on emotion and justify through logic. So 2 points ended into me preaching, Karen, but the first point is selling is helping. Yeah. Selling is helping. If you don't tell them, who will? The next point is pain points plus features equals benefits. When you can speak in that language, you are selling. You are communicating what your products or services can really do. And then from there, you can command higher prices. You become an expert in the industry. Everything opens up when you can do that.
Well, I think it's really important for us to think about too, not just all of our negative experiences that we may have had with selling, but our positive experiences that we may have.
Absolutely. What a great, yeah.
We have things that we absolutely love, and we're so happy that it's out there, whether it be organic food or an iPhone or whatever. I mean, I'll tell you, after coming back from the Middle East and Qatar and not having much access, there was one store that was super, super expensive, even more expensive than Whole Foods. But even those things like fresh greens become a luxury. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a great point. Think about the things that you absolutely love that, you know, if Apple didn't sell you on the iPhone and tell you the pain point and the features and the benefits and, you know, the next big thing, all the things that this did, you wouldn't know.
That's right.
You wouldn't know.
That's right. So we're going to wrap this up. Kendrick, I know you're right in the middle of a launch. You're so generous just to do this for our audience. So anything else that you want to say before we wrap this up?
You know, I think that the final thing that I want to say is sales school is not right for everybody. It's not. I get that. The way to know if sales school is right for you is to ask yourself a couple of questions. Am I making the money I want to make in my business? Yes or no? Am I comfortable overcoming objections and having sales conversations? Yes or no? Do I know how to write emails, sales copy without wanting to pull my hair and teeth out? Yes or no? You know, if you want to make more money, if you want to learn a way to make more money, if you're uncomfortable with some of those things, sales school is a great option for you. And I can guarantee you will not get the level of service that you get anywhere else. So that is one thing that I just am uncompromising on, is the level of service and the level of dedication that we have to our clients. So I would love for you to come over and ask questions in the Authentic Selling community. Ask Karen questions. She's a graduate, so she can absolutely speak to my strengths and my weaknesses, because I got them. They're there. You'll see them. I'm not going to try to hide them. Yeah. But I will tell you this. My team and I will be dedicated to your success, and we will do everything we can to ensure that you get more than what you expect to get. And that is something that we hear over and over again.
Well, there's nothing like it, folks. There's nothing like taking sales school from Kendrick. So we're going to sign off and send you tons of light and love, and just have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for taking your time to watch this with us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.